They say how this nigga come from dirt to bad hoes and bank rolls. Over 100 shots on the E-way, I gotta make it home. I learned from my struggle, stack that duck, forget your hustle on. Go ride for your brother when he call you.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Chopping It Up with Dizz and Los. I'm Dizz. There's no Los again. Unfortunately, he had to stay late at work, so the show must go on. You know, he'll be here next week, hopefully. But no, he'll be here next week because there's a couple things we were going to go over. We were going to go over some of the football schedules and do wins and losses. But I'll wait that for, the professional Los over there with the NFL topics. And I'll get right into the NBA. Game 7 we had on Sunday night, OKC versus the Pacers at OKC. Thought it was going to be a great game. I thought Halliburton was going to, play great. He started off 3 for 3 with threes. Bam, bam, far threes too. And then he had been to get the same injury that Kevin Durant got when he played for Golden State, and they lost to Toronto Raptors. With having a calf injury, there was potential of the ACL getting torn. And it did. It did tear. It was gruesome. We saw it pop. And that's unfortunate because his whole season, next season is done. Pacers were a big surprise. Halliburton was a big surprise. I think he was the surprise of the whole playoffs. The Pacers were the big surprise of the whole playoffs. OKC, without Halliburton, there was nothing the Pacers could do to beat OKC. It was just their time. SGA, unstoppable. No one wants to guard him one-on-one because, one, it's either going to go in, or two, he's going to get fouled. He lives on the free throw line, but he's also a great player, great leader. I saw the parade today. The reporters were asking him, hey, just questions about Game 7 and, how good he was and this and that and, being the MVP of the regular season, being the MVP of the finals. What he did was stop the interviewer and brought his whole team around him, and then he started answering questions. That just shows you what type of leader he is, what type of person you want to have in your locker room. Even when Halliburton got hurt, he went up to him to make sure he was all right, knowing that he was probably done for the game and for next year as well. So OKC, they look unstoppable next year. They're bringing back the same team. They might, have a couple draft picks, but they're mostly bringing back the same team. Might add some of the bench, but they are a great team, and that's going to be a problem for any team coming out the West. To face up to them against the West, and any team coming out the East. Now, one team that made some moves, actually two teams that made some moves that same day of Game 7 was Phoenix traded Kevin Durant to the Houston Rockets for Jalen Green and also Dylan Brooks. I actually think that was a good trade for Phoenix. I think they get younger. What they want to do, they get stars. Green is a star. Brooks is a defensive player. He's a good, okay player. Someone you don't want to play against him, but you want him on your team because he just gets in the other team's mind. I personally think Houston took a step back by getting KD. Their window is very short now. They have a 3-year window. With Green and Brooks, you had a 5-year window. So Houston has to win. They have to win next year. Now, mind you, they were number 2 seed in the playoffs this past year for the Western Conference. Did KD put you up to number 1 to get to the finals, but you lose that Dylan Brooks and the Greens, the young talent? I don't know. You're always in there. Kevin Durant is always good for missing about 20 games a year. It's just what it is. He's old. I would love to have him on team. If he was on the Knicks, that's the team he should have went to because he's not the Houston's expecting him to be the Kevin Durant of old. Of course, yeah, he's still great. He's still, a Hall of Famer, but still, he's in his 30s, late 30s, if anything. I think if he would have went to the Knicks or even Miami, that would have been a good setup for him. Because he has to be like the second option or the third option. At the time, the game is passing Kevin Durant, but he's still a great player. There's different talent, and I just thought that the Knicks would have been the team that should have got him because, excuse me, it's mad hot over here, and I got to keep on staying dehydrated. But I don't know. I went outside today. It was like 98 degrees, and it was 6:30 in the morning. I was like, God damn. That's the worst. Waking up, going outside. It's freaking hot outside. Oh, that sucks. But anyway, Knicks should have got KD. They didn't. And then we had other trades. Let me look it up here. We had Anthony Simon getting traded to the Boston Celtics for Drew Holiday. Drew Holiday is a great defensive player. Great defense. I remember he was giving the Nets. He gave every team that Milwaukee went against one of their best players problems. He was a great defensive player. Look what happened. Went to Boston. They won a championship. He's a championship caliber player that you want on your team. And it's funny because I think he got traded to Portland before. And then Portland traded him to they traded him to Boston. He was in that whole Damian Lillard trade from Milwaukee to Portland. So he just went right back there. It's crazy. The NBA is just moving stuff. Another trade that happened today was Jordan Poole getting traded from the Wizards to the Pelicans for CJ McCullough. Now, Washington had a mixture of young and old players. The young players were a little cocky. Jordan Poole, cocky. Shooting from everywhere. Good player, talented player. But when his head's not in it, he's not a good. He's a liability on the court. They got their young stars. They got also too. They got the 6th pick this year coming up. Are they going to keep it? Or are they going to trade it? But the veterans they have, Chris Middleton, Marcus Smart, they have players there that are championship players. Middleton, Smart, CJ McCullough. He's now CJ McCullough. CJ McCullough never won anything, but still, he is a good piece to have for a puzzle. And you can see right now how the Pacers were a team-oriented team, and look how they ended up. They ended up in the finals. I mean, OKC is just on another level. They built that from the ground up with all their picks. And also, too, they have like 3 picks next year. OKC, they did it right. That's the true thing. Trust the process. OKC, they trusted the process, selling everybody. But again, they got multiple draft picks. They got SGA and multiple draft picks. It was just what OKC did overall. Their organization was great. It was great. How you build a team from top to bottom. That's how you do it. But let's go back to the Wizards. I think, the Wizards are trying to do something, knowing that the Eastern Conference is wide open. Now, we know we got the Knicks. We got the Cavaliers. Sleeper team, Orlando Magic. They traded for Desmond Bane. He was a guard from Memphis. Great player. Good player. But, he was definitely a good leader to have in Orlando. So I do think that's a team to watch. The Pacers are taking a step back. I thought the Boston was going to take a step back. They will, because Simon is no Jason Tatum, but they will be a sneaky team. So this was the year the Knicks had to go all out. They don't even have a coach. How are you going to make trades and stuff like that when you don't even have a coach? You don't know what styles you're going to play. We got the draft. We got the draft coming around the corner as well. So, you figured Cooper Flagg's going to be the number 1 pick. And if KD went to Spurs because they got the number 2 pick, geez, that team would be good. You put Wemby up with KD. I mean, their defense is, no one's getting to the rim. But anyway, let me see what else I have. Oh, we saw a couple things this week, within the last week of press conferences and media tours of Canelo versus Crawford. Now, I know I'll be on Boxing and Bagels with George, and we'll be talking about the fights, and my prediction will be on there. You'll be surprised who I'm going to pick. I think it's going to be an interesting fight. Interesting fight. Now let's speak about George. This week is UFC International Fight Week, and guess what? He's out there with the great Kevin Iole. They're doing some media out there. Kevin is going to be interviewing some fighters. George will be there filming. Hopefully, getting on a table with Dana White. I hope that, hey, if he wins, send some this way. Car's still fucked up. No AC. Yeah, my car's got no AC. It is hot as balls. Yeah, so he's out there. He's going to get a lot of content. You saw him leaving. If you were subscribed to his channel, you saw him leaving the airport, going to International Fight Week. That's a cool thing. I hope when UFC comes to Madison Square Garden, I hope Kevin can come out here and I can meet him. We're going to go have some dinner and go see some fights. But George, Michelle, and Kevin will be there, press row. That's pretty cool, especially with the main event of the Bronx versus Taporia. So, that's a great fight. I do think Oliveira is going to win, but I'm not 100%. I don't know. That's a great fight. That's a great fight. And hopefully I can get some insight from what George is seeing over there, and we'll bring it on here. Maybe you know what? Maybe we should bring back quick hits. Jersey, me, George, bring out quick hits for the comeback, because there's a lot of stuff brewing. There's a lot of stuff we got sponsored by. Jersey Jay-Z shows got sponsored by. So we're all going to be, under the same umbrella like we are right now, but a little bit things are going to be a little different. And you will see. Once George gets back, we're going to start announcing some stuff. But it's everything that we talked about years ago that we wanted to do, and it's slowly getting there. With our channel, Los and I, like I said a couple of weeks ago, we have full-time jobs. If you like, subscribe, give it to the friends and stuff like that. We don't have to work our full-time jobs. We do podcasts all day. But as of right now, we still got a full-time job. Mine's morning time. Los's is flexible. So that's why Los is trying as hard as he can to be here. But there's times that, corporate America says, unfortunately, you got to pay bills and we need you. But hey, let's see what else I have on our list. I had to do a quick little switch up of topics, because like I said, Los and I were going to do the wins and losses for football teams this year. Every week we'll do one conference. We're going to do the AFC West this week. Unfortunately, got pushed off to next week. I'm going to be on Jersey Jay-Z's movie film reviews, because I'm a huge fan of Fantastic Four, of what's going to come up within the next couple of weeks. The movie July 25th coming out. I'm a huge Marvel fan. Jay-Z and I always, go back and forth. But I just want to drop some of my knowledge of what I think is going to happen in Fantastic Four moving forward with the Marvel comics and Superman. So I think it'll be good. Jay-Z will have Greg Valentino, I think, live this week. I don't know if he's still in Alabama, but he might be back. We also, Jay-Z, like I said, with the movie film reviews. And also, he just had Al Snow on. Classic. And it was funny. I was like, Al Snow? Holy cow. I used to watch him in 110 Mill Street. We used to always watch him. And, it's just crazy how, certain interviews do we watch it with, Jersey Jay-Z, where I'll be like, oh my gosh, wow, how did you get him? But hey, listen, you want us to do as much shows as we can and this and that. We're taking it slow, once a week. Our goal is probably have a show 3 times a week, Los and I, So get the subs up, get the views up, so we can work podcasting full time. But as of now, we got a full-time job. Los, we'll see you next week. To everybody, just like, subscribe to the channel. Like I said, 15-minute show. We're going to do 20 to 30 minutes every week with Los. But hey, we'll see you next week.
And bankrolls over 100 shots on the E-way. I gotta make it home. I learned from my struggle. Stack that dough, forget your hustle on. Go ride for